In the beginning of part 7, we see that the three of them start walking towards Shin's house. Lee's car driver was following her. Shin tells him to go in the car, but Lee says, "Then I will not be able to spend much time with you." Hearing all this talk of both of them, Xiao says to them, "If both of you like each other, then why don't you get married? Like my mom and dad." Hearing this, both quickly go to shut her mouth, but once again their eyes meet, and this again creates a little awkwardness. Then they start smiling at each other and walk like this till they reach home. After that, they keep saying, "You go first for some time." Hearing this, Xiao wakes up from sleep and says, "Teacher, if you don't want to let uncle go alone, then call him also to stay with us. Then I will sleep with you like my mom and dad." Hearing this, Shin starts to silence her. But Xiao directly asks Lee, "Uncle, you like my teacher, right?" Then she again starts to silence her, and the scene becomes awkward there, so she was going inside to ask Lee to leave. Then Lee shouts from behind, "Shin, I like you." But before she could hear the line, "I like you," the door of Shin's house was closed. It was soft, but she could hear it, so she stopped but started thinking whether Lee really said, "I like you." Here Lee was also thinking whether she heard it or not. Then Ling calls him and asks him to come to the lab quickly, so he leaves for the lab. After he leaves, she comes out and thinks that she must have heard something wrong. Here the prosthetic arm was ready for Shin's dad, seeing which Lee was very happy, and he starts praising Sue. Here Ling says, "I make it so praise me a little too." Then Lee said, "I have the most important work for you. After that I will praise you together." Now Ling's work was that he has to reach this prosthetic arm to Shin's dad. For this, Lee also gives a lot of ideas. Next we see that Ling sets up his stall near the house of Shin, where he has many other gadgets with that prosthetic arm. Then Ling starts announcing, "All this stuff is for experimental trials, so anyone can take it, and after a few days its feedback will have to be given to us." So people pick up the things of their choice, and only the prosthetic arm is left behind. Then Shin's dad was passing by, and Ling calls him and starts telling him the features of the prosthetic arm, and explains all the features very well. Here he is ready to give it for free also, but Shin's father does not take anything for free, so he makes the excuse of experiment trials and asks him to give its feedback after using it. On this, Shin's dad also agrees and goes, and brings the prosthetic arm to home. Here, seeing the prosthetic arm, Shin asks her dad, "Where do you get it from?" He said, "A man who looked like a scientist gave me this for an experiment trial. So after using it, I have to give him feedback." After seeing the box, Shin gets suspicious that why would someone give such an expensive thing to someone for an experiment trail? There must be something wrong about it. Here Lee was very happy because he thinks that after this, Shin will get totally impressed by him. Here she starts searching on the net about this prosthetic arm, from which she comes to know that it is from Lee's company. So the next day, she goes to return it to Lee. Then while returning it, Lee says, "This is from me for your father." But she refuses to accept it. You can keep it as a medical benefit of the company, but still she refuses to take it because she wants to buy this prosthetic arm with her hard work. So both of them were arguing about the matter. Then Ling calls Lee to the lab in emergency. After reaching the lab, Lee comes to know that Kai had copied all the data from their main system, and he also put a virus in their system, due to which their project QW1 gets in danger, and still everyone starts trying to recover the files. Here Kai gives all those files to Gao, and he gets very happy and promises him for his safety. Here Lee was continuously working in the lab, and she takes coffee for him, but he was so lost in work that he does not even notice Shin, and Shin sits on the sofa next to him, and while watching him, she falls asleep. When Lee's coffee is finished, his attention goes toward Shin. Then he puts his coat on Shin. Then he also falls asleep while sitting in his place and watching her. And seeing how they both are sleeping, Ling takes their photo and keeps it. On the other side, we see Lee's dad. Here he is missing Lee a lot because now he has understood how much wrong he did to him in childhood, due to which he got away from Lee. And now he has started hating him as well. After that, his assistant comes and asks him to tell about his health to Lee. He asks him to go to the hospital for his treatment, otherwise his health may deteriorate further. After which, Gao comes to meet Lee's dad and starts gossiping about Lee and starts whispering against him, but the chairman ignores his words. This angers Gao a lot. After that, Gao calls Mr. May and asks him to post some news about Lee and his father. Then the next day, when Lee sees that news, he gets even more angry on his dad. On the other side, we see that Shin collides with Lee's dad, who has come to the office dressed as a worker. At first, she does not recognize him, but then she remembered that you are Chairman Wei, right? Actually, he has to talk to Shin, so he takes her to the terrace, where he asks her to do something for him. She refuses at first, and says that she does not want to become your spy. She cannot give him any news about Lee. Then Mr. Wei says to her, I don't want to make you a spy, rather, I want you to convince Lee to come back home, because you are the one whom he obeys. Then he explains in detail about the distance between him and Lee, like he never cared about him since childhood. He forced him to do things of his dad's choice, but now he regrets this, so he now wants to live with his son Lee for the rest of his life. So he asks Shin to help him. After that, she also reaches Lee where he was angry with his dad because of the morning article. So he was boxing to vent out his anger. Seeing this, Shin says, you should go home once to calm your mind. Now on hearing the name of the house, he says to Shin, has my father sent you here? If you have come to convince me for this, then I don't want to talk about this. Then he gets angry and starts leaving from there. But she stops him and says, he regrets and now he wants to live happily with you. Now on hearing this, Lee gets even more angry. So he scolds Shin and leaves from there. After this, he goes to drink with Ling. Here he says, Shin also doesn't understand me, neither my feelings, nor does she like me. Now she has also gone to my father's side. She only supports him. She doesn't understand my pain. On hearing all this, Ling starts saying, it is possible that your father has really changed and he regrets his actions. So you should not get angry even on Shin. Ling says you should think about it once. Now thinking all this, Lee does not get sleep at night. So he sits down to drink again, and he also places that monkey in front of him given by Shin and starts remembering his childhood memories. Here we see a flashback that his father never spent time with Lee. He just remains busy in his work, and he sent him to study in childhood itself, and his future was already decided. He will have to top his school, college, and university, and then he will have to join the company. But Lee had no interest in this. He has to do this by force of his father, and due to this, a lot of anger was filled in his mind for his father. So after coming back from studying abroad, he not only greeted his father, but also stopped talking to him. Here, at present thinking about this, he was having drink after drink. Then in the next scene, we see the morning scene where Lee opens his eyes and sees Shin in front of him, and he was shocked to see her. On top of that, she was also wearing Lee's t-shirt. Seeing this, he gets nervous and asks her whether anything had happened last night and why are you wearing my t-shirt? And the most important thing, you were here last night. Then how did you reach here? Then stopping his questions, she says, you had vomited on our clothes last night, so you yourself gave me your t-shirt to wear. Then we are shown the flashback of how she reached here. As he had done earlier, also after drinking, he calls Shin, but does not say anything. So she reaches his house to check, but after knocking the door many times, he does not come. Then she calls Ling and asks him, where is Lee? He tells her that he will be at home. Then he tells her about the duplicate key of the house. After that, she opens the door and goes inside, and seeing him sleeping, she tries to wake him up. But suddenly he sits down and asks Shin to play truth and dare game with him. She does not want to play, but he forces her to do it. So first of all, he chooses truth himself and starts telling him the painful story of his life, that how badly he spent his childhood. He did not get the love and attention of his father, which he always wanted. On the contrary, his father forced him to do the things of his choice. He has to study as per his choice. He has to get a college of his choice and a degree as per his choice. But even after doing all that, the thing that he did not get was his freedom. Then in the second round, he starts again saying that he never supported me, he never went to drop me to school. I was alone at home. I used to go to school alone. I used to come back from school alone. In abroad, he never came to meet me even once. Then she gets bored of listening to Lee's story on repeat mode. Then he ends his life story after about 2-3 hours and thanks Shin that since she has come in his life, she is only with him and supports him. Then he goes close to her and asks, do you know whom I like? Here she got nervous, but Lee says that, I like Sun. And then he had vomited on the clothes of Shin last night. Then, at present, he refuses her to tell anyone about whatever he did last night. After Lee leaves, we are again shown a small flashback of last night, where when she went to drop him to the bedroom, Lee held her hand and said, you are my son. Hearing this, she was blushing. Coming back to the present, we see that Gao joins hands with the rival company of Lee to remove Lee from the position of chairman. Here at the office, Shin has nothing left to do, so she asks Lee to give her some work, and he also gives her a lot of work. Then the employees tell her that Lee completes all this work in a single day. Then she also starts the work with enthusiasm, but half of the work was not even finished, and she falls asleep. Then Lee comes and, seeing her sleeping, starts saying that just now she was dying for the work, and when she was allowed to do the work, she fell asleep. Thinking this, he sits down to finish her work smilingly. After finishing it, after a long time, he leaves. After that, when she woke up, she sees that the work is complete, and she feels that Sue must have definitely completed her work. So she goes to Sue to thank her, but Lee is also with her, who after hearing all this angrily goes from there to Ling. Then Lee asks him to give some idea, so that Shin can feel how much he cares for her. Then Ling gives him an idea and says that she will be impressed by having a luxurious dinner. Then he goes to Shin and asks her to invite her for dinner, on which she also agrees to go for dinner. And then Foam also sees both of them leaving. Then after a while he sees Sue running behind them carrying a box. Then he feels something is wrong. That is why he follows her. Here they were going to the restaurant and Shin is driving the car. So how could he let her drive today? That is why he told her that, "I will drive. You come and sit here." Then she asks, "Have your legs become fine that you want to drive?" He says, "My legs are fine, that is why I can drive." She says, "Okay then, I will let you drive on one condition. You will have to do extra exercise with me." And on hearing the name of exercise, Lee becomes silent. Then they reach the restaurant where the waitress takes them to their table. Then Lee makes her sit first by pulling a chair for her. Seeing all this behavior of Lee, she starts thinking, what has happened to him? Then the waitress says, "Sir, your couple set is ready, and it will reach you right now." Then, hearing the name of the couple set, Shin asks him, "Why did you order a couple set? We have come for a normal dinner, right?" Then he starts making excuses that this restaurant has only couple sets. Then the waitress says, "No, sir, you yourself had ordered the couple set." Now, hearing all this, his plan is about to fail, but he somehow manages the situation and asks the waitress to go and bring their order. After getting the couple set, both of them started eating. Then he remembered the words of Ling that he had told him to spill food on their clothes while eating, so that their clothes would get spoiled. Then he brought a couple dress for Shin, and they would wear it and go for a walk. Then our hero starts throwing the food towards Shin, but she catches all the food and asks him, "Boss, why are you throwing food on me?" Now hearing this, he said, "I was just seeing how active you are and whether you can protect me or not." After eating, both of them came out. Lee was kept looking at her, and she noticed this thing and asked if he wanted to talk to her about something. Then he gathered courage and went to tell her his heart feelings, but Ling stopped him, who was on a Bluetooth call, and called him to himself. Then Lee makes some excuse and goes to meet Ling. Here, Sue had reached the other side of the same place with a box to light fireworks, but Foam, who was following her, seeing her doing this, stopped her and asks, "What is she doing here, and what is inside the box?" Sue is shocked after seeing him here, but then after calming herself, she tells him that she is just following Lee's orders. Then Foam asks, "What is going on here, and why did he ask you to do all this, and what is inside this box?" Now she gets confused as to what to tell him. Here Lee reaches Ling, and Ling gives him flowers and gives an idea to propose Shin by giving her flowers. Lee likes this idea a lot. Just then they see that she was chasing a thief. Now his proposal plan flops badly, and he becomes sad. On the other side, these are fighting for the box, but Sue kicks him and takes the box. But even after waiting for a long time, when Sue does not get a call to light the fireworks, then she hands over the box to Foam, and both of them start walking. Here Foam was just keeping looking at Sue. Meanwhile, Lee is waiting for Shin to come. Just then, she also comes here with her owner badge, which was given to her by the police to catch the thieves. She was very happy to show Lee. Then Lee was getting upset because of the injury on her hand. Shin said that all this is nothing. It will get better on its own. But Lee gets worried about her. That's why he goes to get medicine for her. Coming back, he starts applying medicine on her hands, where he tells her that today he had brought her out to tell her something, but even now he was not able to say anything. He starts to leave, but Shin had understood this long ago. So she stops him and says, "So you like me, right?" Before he could say anything, she asks again, "You told me that I like you that night, and I heard it. I also came out to check, but by then you had already left." He replies, "Yes." Then she says, "That night after drinking you said that you like sun, and that sun is me." He again replies, "Yes." She says, "Then what are you waiting for?" Hearing this, Lee immediately kisses her, and from now on both officially become a couple. Here, Sue and Phone light the fireworks, seeing which she is very happy, and she also holds Feng's hand. Here, Phone was just keeping watching her, and it seems that the love story of these two will start soon. And here the part 7 ends. Don't forget to subscribe because the next part will come tomorrow.